Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and then later on a comparison of the Huion A4 light pad. I got this because I've recently been working on the Switch series that I've been doing in the live streams, and I'm transferring these sketches that I printed out that I did in Procreate onto watercolor paper, and the only place that I feel my old Huion light pad fails at is it's just not quite bright enough to get through the watercolor paper so I can see tiny details that I've done digitally. So I really thought it's time to look into seeing if I could get a slightly brighter light pad. And this one seemed like a good fit, the A4, because it's the exact same size as the old one, the L4S that I use now. Except it's supposedly brighter. So that's why I went ahead and got this one. Just to be clear, this video is not sponsored. It's just I bought it myself and I wanted to make a video to share with you guys because I really needed a video like this when I was looking to buy this light pad, and it didn't seem to exist. So I thought I'd put it out there so anybody else looking to figure out the difference between the Huion L4S model and the Huion A4 model would have some kind of information. So first you'll see the unboxing of the A4 light pad, and later you'll see a comparison between the L4S and the A4 light pads. If you need a video showing the unboxing of the L4S model and me testing that one out, I have one. It's up in the iCard. You can go check it out. It's super old. It's one of the first videos I did on my channel, so please excuse. But if you need it, it's there. So inside the box, they put this really nice Huion tote bag, which I was really surprised to see. I didn't expect to see anything extra inside the box at all, but I thought it was really nice. It's pretty good quality, so I put it aside to use for groceries. I think that's a nice little touch. They also included a pack of tracing paper, which I super didn't expect to see, and a cute little owl sharpener, as well as 2 drawing pencils. I kind of suspect that those items, maybe not the tote bag, but the sharpener and the tracing paper and the pencils, could actually be from the seller that I bought it from and not from the manufacturer. I really don't know though, but I've noticed there is a bit of a culture when you buy things from Taobao where it's like from a shop and not like a manufacturer type seller, that they will often give little freebies. So it could be little freebies from the seller I bought from and not from not things that would usually be in the box. So I just thought I'd put that disclaimer out there just in case like you buy it from somewhere else and you're like, where's my pencil sharpener? I felt kind of bad when I was recording that because I really don't know for sure. So I thought I'd just say that just in case. I showed a close-up of the AC adapter, especially long, just to make sure everyone can see it clearly. It's something that I was really worried about when I purchased this light pad because I really wasn't sure what kind of plug my light pad would come with. Sometimes when you buy stuff from China, it tends to have like the US type power plug, but not always is the AC adapter actually something that can work for both 110 and 220 volts. So I was a little bit unsure if I would need a transformer in order to use this light pad, but I was willing to take that risk, so I just purchased it anyway. But I was super happy to see that the plug, although it is the US style of plug, does have the 110 to 220 volt conversion of its AC adapter thing. So that means like either in the US or over here in Singapore, you can plug it into an outlet. You just would need a converter for the plug here in Singapore. So I was very, very happy to see that. So I don't have to use the transformer because that would be a pain every time I use the light pad to have to dig out this bulky transformer. So very, very happy about that. So I thought I'd include the close-up so everyone can see just in case they were also worried. So I'm a very careful person, and because of the way things are right now, I am especially careful even with things that have been recently factory made from China or the US, because I don't know if even in the factory, if there could be someone who's sick but still going to work, and there could be something lingering on the product. So before I put this item on my drawing desk and filmed the video, I did wipe everything. Unfortunately, I can't wipe papers. It's just not possible to do that. So I just quickly showed the paper separate so you can see what kind of paperwork comes with this light pad, but it's not with the other things because I took them out separately while I was wiping stuff. It's all in Mandarin, so it's not something super helpful for most of the people who are probably going to see this video, but I just thought I'd show the kind of paperwork that's included just so you see everything, and then afterwards I threw it away and washed my hands and then continued with the video. The power cable for the A4 model is pretty nice. I was happy to see it's much longer than the USB cable that originally came with the L4S model. I guess they expect you need to have a bit more space to get to the power outlet. So I was happy to see that. Luckily for me, on my desk I have a power strip right next to the area where I draw, so it's not too much of a big deal to have either a USB connector or a power connector. It's actually slightly more annoying to have a power one instead because my strip is pretty full, so I have to unplug my lights to plug this in. But as long as it's bright enough, I'm willing to deal with that. It's kind of hard to show exactly how bright it is, but I did notice right away that it does seem brighter than the L4S, so I was very happy about that because I was really unsure of how bright it was going to be, since on the Chinese listings they didn't really mention too much details about the brightness, but the US listings on Amazon did list some numbers, but I still don't know exactly what that means in real life. So I'm just going to show a quick view of how the sketch looks on top of the watercolor paper that I'm using. I'm currently using the Arches. It's a 140-pound watercolor paper. It's pretty thick. It's not the thickest watercolor paper out there, but it's the average watercolor paper that you would use. And it does look really nice. It looks really clear. I'm super happy with it so far, but honestly, unless I compare side by side, I don't know for sure. It's not like super bright that it's blinding me, but it looks pretty good. So I was pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to start comparing the two models, the L4S and the A4 model. It might be a little confusing at first, but right now the L4S model is on top, the A4 model is at the bottom. You can see a huge difference when you see the side because the L4S model is much thinner and the A4 model is much thicker. And of course, the part where you plug in the power is different because the L4S uses the mini USB, I think it's like number 2 or something connector, and the A4 model uses like this circular pin type connector. And I just showed the back in case that's helpful for anyone to see the difference. The A4 model is on top right now and the L4S is at the bottom. And otherwise it's the exact same size and it looks extremely similar from the top. There's no big difference from just looking from above. I mean, the power button is slightly different shape between the two, but it works exactly the same and it looks exactly the same in shape and size. So if you like the size, then you have two different models to choose from for sure. Now I'm going to plug them both in and show the comparison of brightness. The only thing is, I have to warn you, it's really hard for the camera to have picked it up, so I was kind of sad that it wasn't as obvious, but I do try to flip them around so you can kind of see the difference as best as I could show it. They both turn on the same exact way, like you press and hold to go lower and then press and hold to go higher. So I'm showing the lowest setting for both here. The L4S is at the bottom and the A4 model is on top right now. And I turned off the light so you can see. So partial light, this is what it looks like if you had like one light overhead, and then in a minute you'll see full darkness with just the light pads being the light. The L4S is really much dimmer. It's actually struggling to show visibly, but when it goes full darkness, you can see better that it's much dimmer. So I guess if you want super dim, then L4S is for you, but I don't ever use the dim light at all. So I don't know if anybody would use that at all. I mostly just go all the way to the highest setting and leave it there. It's really hard to see in the photo, but the A4 model is brighter. Right now the L4S is the bottom, A4 is on top. I'm trying to show my hand so you can see the difference, but it's really difficult to show. Here you can kind of see it a little bit better. The L4S model is now on top and the A4 on bottom, and now my camera can kind of pick it up a little bit more that you can see the A4 is brighter. But I will say it's not like insanely brighter. It's just a little bit brighter, but it does help. I mean, if you're going to use watercolor paper at this point, I would definitely say go for the A4 model. But if you're just going to be using like cardstock and thinner paper to do transfers on, like if you use markers or pencils or something like that, you'd probably be fine with just the L4S model. Here I tried to show side by side, but it's kind of difficult because there's a gap between the top and the bottom, because of the size. So I'm trying my best to show it side by side with the same drawing. I probably should have taken out multiple drawings to see, but at the time I didn't even think of it. And you can see the A4 model, which is on the right hand side, is definitely brighter. It's definitely clearer to see through the watercolor paper. But again, it's not a huge like wow difference. I do wish it was slightly even more punchy or brighter, but it's just enough that it's much clearer to see and it's much easier to transfer onto watercolor paper. So to recap, there's really only 4 differences between these two models. The L4S is thinner, it's not as bright, it's slightly cheaper when you see it online, and it has a USB to mini USB connector for the power. While the A4 model is thicker, it has an AC adapter for its power. It's usually ever so slightly more expensive, and it is much brighter. I would say maybe like 20-30% brighter. It's not a huge amount, but it's just enough to really help. So I would highly recommend, if you are using thicker papers like the 140-pound type papers and thicker, you should go with the A4 model. I'm not sure about something like a 300-pound paper. I don't even have any of that, so I couldn't try it out. And I probably should have tried more papers on this thing, but I was just happy to see if it worked with the watercolor paper or not, because that's my current like immediate need, is I just needed a slightly better a light pad when it came to watercolor paper, and my life has been a little bit better ever since getting the A4 model for sure. I'm very happy with the purchase. I'm very glad that I went for it because it's just making things a little bit better. But do take into mind your type of artwork as well. If you have more simple shapes or thicker lines, because I do like quite thinner lines, you might be fine with the L4S model. I've been using that one for many years, and it's only till now that I needed to upgrade. So yeah, definitely consider your situation, what kind of power plug would work best for you when deciding. And there are other brands that you could check out online. There's so many other brands. Some of them seem like they are even brighter than these two. So definitely do your research, look around. For me, I stuck with the Huion brand only because I had such good luck with it in the past. The L4S model, when I first saw it, I swear I thought it would be dead in a year. It just seemed really thin and flimsy, but I took care of it and it's still going for many years. So I just decided to stay with that brand for the A4 model just because I knew that it would last me longer, hopefully. At least I had luck in the past. So that's why I went for that, but definitely do your research, look around. But otherwise, I really hope this video was helpful. If it was, definitely give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment to let me know. It actually makes me really happy when I see comments, even on super old videos, saying that the video is helpful. That makes my day, honestly. So if it was helpful, definitely let me know. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!